of life. And Dr. Mahesh Bhatt has taken the spiritual health and interior health as the special area of his research. Science and art at the spiritual dimension of health and its application in public healthcare system, and they are the chief concern for Dr. Bhatt. Dr. Bhatt is engaged in the promotion of spiritual health among the people of the globe. To his credits, Dr. Bhatt has published many research papers, articles, and a book on spiritual health in the last few years. Being a regular speaker on various national and international forums, seminars, and academic and independent academic institutions, he has proved his personality as a speaker and as a eminent health personality. On this occasion, I would like to welcome Professor Pramod Kumar Das, the host, convener, and Arbini, a philosophy family, to monitor the technical arrangement and academic summary of the virtual academic program. I also welcome Professor Prafulla Kumar Mahapatra sir. I can see his face on the screen. And Dr. Ratnagar Gajendra, Dr. Indu Thondri ma'am, and so many other eminent professors of philosophy of our country. I welcome them to this webinar. I also welcome all the executive members of philosophy family for being connected with us in this program, in this evening. With these few words, may I now call upon Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, today's speaker, to present his talk on spiritual health. Pranam, sir. Pranam, Dr. Bhatt, sir. Sir, pranam.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. So, thank you very much, Dr. Kailash Morana. Such nice words. First of all, I am feeling extremely privileged to be here among all the philosophers and philosophy teachers. I am really thankful to Philosophy Society or Philosophy family to give me this opportunity to present and to discuss my views on this spiritual dimension of health. So, we'll go through this presentation, and I am going to share my screen with you because it's a presentation and okay. So, yes, the screen is visible, I think.
Yes, visible.
My screen is visible.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I think the presentation is visible now, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So today we will discuss the spiritual health. Since I am a public health consultant and working in the area of the public health for the last many years, so what we will talk today is about a paradigm shift in our understanding of spirituality, religion, and health. So friends, 8 years back when I decided to work on spirituality and spiritual health, my family and my friends my other surgeon colleagues, they thought that this picture where a surgeon is sitting with his OT staff, operation theater staff, and smiling, they thought that it is going to change like this. So they, they thought that something this is going to happen with the Dr. Mahesh Bhatt. But since this was practically a difficult task for me, so I chose the lens of science to understand and to explore this the spiritual component of our health or spirituality in larger context. First of all, I would like to share with you some of these recent developments in science and technology arena. The robot Sophia given the citizenship and voting rights. Astronomers discovered Proxima b merely 4.3 light years away from us, considered habitable. Scientists were able to produce human organs in sheep by editing its genes. And a robo carried out fully autonomous surgery on a pig. So I am a little bit skeptical that after 10 years down the line, the robo may replace me, and it can be a problem for me anyway. So uh, quickly we can go through these scientific facts, and these scientific facts are: atom is 99.99% empty. We are continuously exchanging atoms and molecules with our fellow human beings, with other animals, with plants, with our environment. Around 90% of our body will get changed after 1 year, and millions of cells born every day and millions of cells destroyed every day in our body. We all are moving at a speed around 30 kilometers per second with Earth in space. In that way, we all are celestial bodies. We all are celestial bodies, and we all are the part of total universal energy. So these are some of the scientific facts, and we can see that how they can change our thought process. So scientific facts and explanations create a paradigm shift in our understanding of spirituality in last few decades, and specifically in last the latter 5 decades of 20th century, which is still continuing. So complexities of human existence, always we try to find the answers, applying our reasoning, our thinking, and that leads to the hypothetical. So the concept of God as an hypothesis created with the creation of religions and philosophies, that everything, whatever we don't know, that is being created by the God. And this hypothetical answer to natural happenings around us, that whatever there is, that is because of God. So it gives a strength, and it was a positive thinking, and it was a great idea. In fact, in the if you see the history of humanity, then comes science with its hypothetical answer, which were tried and tested on facts and evidences. So, with the development of science, gradually we find the reason behind all natural phenomena around us. So, further creation of the new complexities and new questions. Even with the science, there was the no definitive answer, possible answers of many things. So, still we require the centuries old human hypothesis, and which is the strong one, and that is the concept of the God. So, concept of God is still required with us, because we don't have the answers of many questions in our existence. So it makes spirituality important for human health, because most of the time it is our thoughts which decide our health, positive or negative. Second, we have profound scientific evidence that human thought process play a significant role in human health. People have tremendous attraction to spirituality. So everybody, every one of us wants to realize our spirituality, and that is the reason that it can be exploited by the vested business, political, cultural, and religious interest, which can be detrimental to physical, mental, and social health. And with these strong evidence, World Health Organization with its regulation WHA 37 made it an essential component of all health strategies in 1984. But its historical proximity to the religions and complexities and ambiguities in defining spirituality created hurdles. And with my long public health experience, I can say that most of the time these complexities and ambiguities they are created around this is created because of certain vested interests, and we all have seen it. We all have tremendous news and tremendous data in last few years that across the religions, across the cultures, many times this kind of the thoughts they are exploited for the vested interests. So, but with modern methods now, we are understanding it and we are trying to simplify it. So the science has simplified this whole area. So I want to quote this famous quote by Carl Sagan, and I quote: "Science is not only compatible with spirituality; it is a profound source of spirituality." I unquote. So it is all because of the extraordinary development of human brain, which happens because of natural evolutionary process. Yeah, natural evolutionary process. So, brain is a complex organ of millions of neurons and trillions of synapses. Interestingly, our brain follows the same evolutionary path that it travels in its evolutionary history of millions of years in 9 months of our embryonic life. So, if we see that our brain developed in our intrauterine life and it crossed all that history of millions of years in 9 months in our intrauterine life, from reptilian brain to mammalian brain and mammalian brain to human brain. So the thought process uh, are the result of fine biochemical reactions and movements of ions in neurons of our body. Einstein once said about the our thinking, and he said that knowledge is limited, imagination encircles the world. So our imagination, our thought process can put us anywhere uh, in the world, and we are sitting here. We can go anywhere in our thoughts. In very comfortable situation, our thoughts can put us in very uncomfortable situation. That and in very uncomfortable situation, if our thoughts are balanced, we can have a very comfortable life. So these biochemical reaction, which you call thought process, affected by external and internal factors. In this slide is a little bit complex, and we will go through it very fast, very quick, because it's otherwise this slide is very long. So we have the positive inputs uh, in the form of the external senses and internal senses. So these external senses are through our what you call them as the sensory organs, the different sensory organs, and they goes to this frontal cortex, and these parts, medial prefrontal cortex, anterior singular cortex, and orbitofrontal cortex, they make the part of the prefrontal cortex, and which is very developed in human brain. And with amygdala and hippocampus, etc., they that internal those the, the external and internal these inputs, they create a kind of reward or punishment system which is based on the dopamine and opioid releasing factors. So the second thing is we also have the negative inputs, and those negative inputs are in the form of the negative thoughts. And those negative inputs go to the hypothalamo-pituitary axis. And that hypothalamo-pituitary axis that releases the cortisol, which is the stress hormone. It goes to it stimulates the amygdala, and it creates fear, fight, or flight mechanism which increase our heart rate, blood pressure, stress, anxiety, blood sugar. So all this happens, and this all we know that it is not good for our health. So, what are positive inputs? All those thoughts which are good for humanity and human values, and good for life in general, you can say. So, a positive thought, a positive act, thinking, a positive thinking of humanity and human value will give the positive input to the brain. Similarly, uh, a bad thought that which is against humanity and human values, hatred, anger, etc., that will we will discuss it further in a few slides, and it will give the negative inputs, and it will create all the negative things. So brain has ion biochemical reaction and controlled movement of ions in its cells, which start the thought process. So thought process is the real energy. Our thoughts are the real energy behind our different actions in religion, cultures, philosophy, science, whatever you think. So we have three questions in front of evolved human thought process, and those are related to our existence. All of them are with us throughout our evolution to modern human civilization. Interestingly, these three questions. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. Oh, is my screen is visible?
No,
Hello.
Yes,
no, no.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
slide,
It's visible, sir. It is
slide,
visible, sir.
slides are
Slideshow is doing well.
Slides.
no
It's
slides.
not visible.
Slides are not
It's
visible.
not visible.
No slides.
It,
Oh, it is saying that it is okay. Just give me a minute. Stop sharing. Uh, just a minute. I would like to.
Yes. Now it is.
Uh, Now it is visible.
No, no. Now it is all right, sir. You speak without slides.
Oh, in fact, I am speaking with slides, but why it is not visible? I would like to just find it out. Why it is not happening? I thought that my slides are going on well, so it was the.
maybe some technical problem, sir.
Yeah, just a minute. I am going through it. I am going through it. I am trying. I am trying. So my screen is visible now.
No, sir. You are visible, but the screen is not visible. You are visible, but the slide is not visible.
Okay, so just a minute. I am going to the slides. Now, is it visible?
No,
Slide is not still visible.
not visible still.
So what can be the reason? Ah, okay. I guess, but there is something.
So if there is technical problem, please speak on without the slide.
Yes, I am giving a last chance to it, and then we will see. Because Professor Indu ma'am, she just called me that the slides are not visible. So I am going. I am trying to make it present now. A window, a tab, best for video and animation. A window. Okay. Now I think it should be visible. Is it visible now?
I don't see. Pramod sir, is it visible?
Huh?
The screen is visible,
Yes,
Uh-huh.
but
we are waiting for the slides, sir.
yes, yes.
Slides should run.
Yes. This is the issue.
The presentation is visible.
Presentation is this. These slides are running now.
No, sir. No, sir. It is not running.
Presentation is visible.
The presentation screen is visible, sir, but the slides are not running.
Okay, it will take a few minutes, I think.
Okay, sir, we wait. We are waiting you.
Now Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. It is.
Cannot approve.
It is still, sir. It is not moving.
It is not
Doctor
moving?
Doctor Bhatt, if it is not working, please go ahead like
Huh?
that.
Okay, so
Sir, rather you off one system because of the presence of two systems, the
uh-huh.
sound is echoing. Rather you speak from one device, sir.
No, I am speaking on only through one device.
But there is another device which is not working, but it is there.
Maybe that. I don't know. But I'm working with only one.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
These slides are visible or not? Not
No,
still?
slides are not visible, sir. Only the screen is visible.
What is the problem with
The
it?
empty screen.
Okay, I will. The reason, sir, because I am doing everything well, still it is not visible. So what can be the reason? Present a window, your entire screen window.
Sir, you can read the slides.
Yes, I will do that only. Then what we can do? But it would have been better if the slides would have been, you are presenting to everyone. It is written here. Click here to return to the. Ah, okay.
Oh,
Is it visible
now,
now?
yes, yes. Now it is visible.
And the slides are moving.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
These slides are moving now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. We will go through these slides, and I thought that everything is going well.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now I think it is good. Isn't it? We were here. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everything is well, perfect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we will go to that slide where from we disconnected it.
Now, sir.
So
Now it is all right, sir. It's all right.
it is all right. Okay, so what happened? I don't know, but anyway, we have three questions in front of evolved human thought process, and those are related to our existence. All
Hey,
of them are with us throughout our evolution to modern human civilization. Interestingly, these three
ବାପାକୁ
questions
ଦେଲନି
became more complex
ରୁଟିକି
in
ବାପାକୁ
last 70,000 years after cognitive revolution, and they further increased in complexity in last 500 years after scientific revolution, and further enhanced in last 200 years after industrial revolution. All of them still don't have straight answers. Even science doesn't feel comfortable with these questions. All of them have some kind of mysticism around them. Those three questions are: first question, as we all know, that is the who am I, or who we are. The second question is where from I came, or from where from we came. And the third question is where will I go, or where will we go. So these three questions define our existence in the vastness of this universe. We can find these three questions as the foundation for different religions, science, belief systems, faith, cultures, and philosophies. These three questions drive our individual and collective human consciousness, collective human intelligence, collective human efforts to find their answers. To find the answers of those three basic questions of our existence, we have the religious thought process. Those have the prominence of the thoughts of some god, belief, guru, supernatural power, method of worship, etc. We have the cultural thought process based on our with the prominence of our cultural thinking. We have the philosophical thoughts. In those philosophical thoughts, we have the prominence of the philosophic system, and we have the scientific thought process. Those are with the prominence of thoughts of facts and reasoning, with exploring the natural phenomena and experimenting with them and getting the truth out of it. So the religious theories, cultural theories, philosophic theories, and scientific theories, they uh, all are trying to explain who am I or who we are, where from I came or where from we came, and where I will go or where we will go. So in this process, we the human beings are busy for last 70,000 years after the cognitive revolution. We have the stories like Adam and Eve, creation by God, religions, epics, etc. We have various stories of heaven and hell.
Baba,
We have theories like Big
Baba,
Bang, creation of matter, energy, and time. We explore atoms at one end, and universe at another end. In between these extremes, we have created many cultures, religions, sects, philosophies, science, and their various outcomes like information technology and atomic energy in science, and stories and mythology in religion. So, with the development of human knowledge and its intelligence, the complexities of those three questions are also increasing. So if we see the neo-Darwinism, we say that like brain, our thought process are also evolving. So the neo-Darwinism says that the things went from simple to complex in the process of the evolution. Similarly, it happens with our thought process as well. Our thought process and thinking patterns follow the same story of evolution, and it becomes from simple to complex thoughts.
ପଚାର
So
ଭାତ ଖାଇଯିବା
we have
କର
two groups of thought process. One is the primitive, that is necessary to survive, and those we can say those are the animal thought process, which are there in our in the base of our human thought process. And second are evolved thought process, which we call the thoughts of the human beings or human thoughts. So we the human beings have all the imprints of primitive thought process in our brain, which we can call animal thought process. So we have these thought process and thoughts at the level of individual, society, cultural, and communities, country, and global levels. So we have individual thought process, collective thought process, and they are interrelated or interdependent, being the individual thought process as the unit of collective human thought process. So spirituality, the evolved human
କିଏ
thought,
ଯିବ ମା ଯିବ
after 130,000
ଆରେ ଟିକେ
years
ତଳକୁ
of
ଯା
appearance of Homo
ସେ ଲୋକ
sapiens.
ଆସିଛନ୍ତି
So that was 70,000 years back, which we call as the cognitive revolution. And we can call it as the beginning of language, communication, transfer
ଆଉ
of
ତୁ ଯାଉନୁ
knowledge.
ଜଲ୍ଦି
And in short, we can say that it is the beginning of history. So beginning of history, which we call, where the knowledge is transferred from one generation
ଆଉ
to
ତାକୁ କହିଦେ
another
ରଖିଦବ ଯାହା
generation.
ଯେମିତି
Knowledge is transferred from one side to another side. So it was the beginning of that kind of the language, communication, and transfer of knowledge. So our evolved brain changed them to highly evolved human thoughts of humanity and human values. So development of primitive thought process, highly evolved thought process of humanity and human values. In this process, we have groups, beliefs, religions, philosophies, science, and all of them has complexities of positive and negative thoughts. So we have equally developed negative thoughts. Our positive thoughts are developing, but our negative thoughts are also equally developing. So here we can see that this fellow is cutting the twig of the branch of the tree in which he is sitting, and these two gentlemen are sitting, and we can understand it that our thought process are evolved, are developed to such an extent that he can cut it within seconds. So if he will have more developed electric shock, so he can cut it. So it depicts our negative thoughts, that how dangerous our negative thoughts are. So our invention and their pace is swift now. We have atomic energy, artificial intelligence, technology, etc. And all of them are the byproducts of our continuous quest to solve those three questions of our existence. These are the byproducts in our venture to go behind those three questions. Swiftness is because of the swift mind, which is because of our evolved human brain. And problem here is that it is swift in both the directions. So it is swift in positive side and it is equally swift in the negative side. So we can see the negative thought process in science, religion, cultures, and philosophies. So there are a lot of negativities in our thought process, and that is the inherent part of these thoughts. So the negative human thought process reflected in so many forms all over the world. We can see it as the opposing the initial scientific researches. We can still see it, still it is there. So we have the example of the Galileo and Copernicus. We have the example of many scientists who were persecuted just to say truth, and later on it proved that our modern inventions are based on their initial work. uh, Fundamentalism, extremism, extreme ideas in every field, all kind of the isms. So these are the negative thoughts. So in response to a question, considering all the things, to what do you think? The world is getting better or worse? Only 10% in Sweden, 6% in US, and 4% in Germany think the world is getting better. So it is based on a study that was conducted way back in 2013. So majority of people think that world is not getting better. If we see the data, the whole picture is different. If we look 30, 50, 100, 200, and 500 years back, we will find we have done tremendous development in all areas of life and science. And science play a big and critical role in this. We have better conditions, better living conditions. We have longer life. We have longer life expectancies. So in reality, we did a lot of development as human race. Why the collective human thought process is getting negative? Why we are thinking that we are not going better or our future is not going to be going better? Because in modern era, the negative human thought process are more dangerous. Interestingly, the species that is going to suffer most is the Homo sapiens. Means that is our species which will suffer the most of our negative thoughts. So highly evolved and developed human brain, highly evolved thought process, both positive and negative, with highly evolved intelligence, resulted in very complex and threatening problems. And those problems, in this process, our over smart brain has created a total mess with its highly evolved thought process. And this is the reason that the collective human consciousness is suspicious and negative. We have the negative thought process are common about the future of humanity, in spite of all the scientific inventions and development. So this is the reason that why generally we think that we are not, our future is going to, because our subconscious mind is thinking about these things. So a mechanism is required to control the complex problems in it, problems that it is evolving. That spirituality or the spiritual thought process is that mechanism through which we can control our the many negativities. So evolution and development of the spirituality and spiritual thought process as a control mechanism in the ecosystem of the human thought process. Spirituality and spiritual thought process evolved and is still evolving as a control mechanism in the ecosystem, because it is the natural requirement of our species. It is the natural requirement of the species Homo sapiens to protect it, to survive in the nature. So it is very much required, and this is the reason that in last few decades there has been a marked development or marked in the evolution in our understanding of the spirituality. So spirituality has many definitions. It has got many ambiguities in understanding. And there are so many complexities in defining spirituality, which is not good for its public health application. So spirituality is a thought process which makes us human and put us on the top of animal kingdom. It protects us from our own negative, complex, and toxic thoughts in religion, culture, philosophies, and science. Spirituality and spiritual thought process are the most critical, evolutionary, and developmentally advanced thought process, is developed to provide and search the answer of complex questions related to ourselves, our the life in general. So, and its existence beyond our to the complex question, those are related to ourself and its existence, means our existence beyond our physical body, in nature and universe. So it is controlling, acting, reforming, communicating, and enhancing thought process. Generally, we consider religion and spirituality as similar or synonymous, but it is not so, because evolutionary facts, religious thought process is a primitive thought process than spirituality. It is a primitive thought process. So the relationship between religion and spirituality is, we can understand it with this diagram, that uh, spirituality in the form of, because I have already told you that I am working in the area of the public health. So my aim is just to make the definition of the spirituality simpler. So in this diagram we will see that the spirituality create a bridge and communication channels between different religions, belief systems, and philosophy. So it makes a communication channel between two religions, between religion and science, beliefs, belief and science, philosophy and science. So uh, this explains that, in fact, we all follow a religion or belief just to realize our spirituality. The larger part of any religion is made up of its rituals, practices, and beliefs. To a certain extent, it becomes the hindrance for the development of spirituality, and result is negative thought process of the hatred and extreme ideas and extremism, etc. So we can understand it with this diagram. So we have four major types of a human thought process. One is religious or socio-cultural thought process, philosophical thought process, scientific thought process, and spiritual thought process. So spiritual thought process are the thoughts of humanity and human values, which are always positive thoughts. So if you would see any thought, whether it is philosophical thought, it is religious or socio-cultural thought, scientific thought, uh, at its base is created by thoughts of humanity and human values. It is always based on the humanity and human values, but its larger part is by thoughts, specific methods like rituals and beliefs in religion, questioning and experimentation in science, etc. So this larger part is created by the thought specific component, and this thought specific component has got the potential to get into the negative side. So spiritual thought process create spiritual the thought of spirituality, and religious thought process create religious thought or religiosity. Spirituality is the superior thought process on the timeline of evolution of human thought process, and religious thought process are the human representative of the thoughts of making herds and living in groups, which we are carrying forward from our ancestors in animal kingdom. So spirituality is not something like meditation, yoga, methods, or worship, rituals, beliefs, etc. It is a most developed and advanced thought process among all types of thought process, whether it is religion, culture, philosophy, science, and it controls the negative thought process in all these the religion, science, culture, and belief systems. In simpler terms, we can say that the thought process of humanity and human values are spirituality and spiritual. So all the thoughts of humanity and human values can be considered as spirituality and spiritual, and humanity and human values are generally the positive thoughts. So those, or we can say that all the positive thoughts, those can be considered as spiritual thoughts. To make it simpler, not going into the jargon of the various definitions and complexities and ambiguities. So a spiritual thought process and spirituality are the result of the evolution of the coding in the human DNA through the evolution. So science, it is highly if we come at the it is a highly developed and evolved human thought process. uh, it appears late in the timeline of human life, has a strong attraction. These are the reasons why we call it evolved, because it appears late, has a strong attraction in human behavior, and everybody has a strong urge to realize it. So people want to have a strong urge. So all the three questions of our existence, these three questions, they are we try to solve their mystery with our best knowledge available, and now we have the scientific thought process at work. So The dominance has been now of the scientific thought process. Earlier, say before 500 years back, before the scientific revolution, it was the religious thought process which was the has the prominence of working on these three questions. But now it is the scientific thought process which is on it. So science is a product of scientific thought process, like religion is the product of the, and spirituality is the product of spiritual thought process. So like all other thought processes, the end results may be positive or negative. So positive is in science is paracetamol, and negative in the science is weapon. So these are two examples of the positive and negative. Paracetamol will treat all human beings alike. It will cure fever irrespective of gender, caste, creed, religion, race, ethnicity, nationality, and beliefs. Similarly, weapons will treat all human beings alike. So they will kill irrespective of gender, caste, creed, religion, race, ethnicity, nationality, belief, etc. So science and products of science does not discriminate on the basis of the gender, caste, creed, religion, race, ethnicity, nationality. The results, good or bad, will depend how we are using them. So we are happy to invent the artificial intelligence. We are editing the genes. We can make copies of animals. We have ability to change the natural process. But simultaneously, we have the different challenges, and those are global warming, artificial intelligence, the negative ideas of the artificial intelligence, negativities in biotechnology, negative thoughts of weapons in the form of the weapons of mass destruction. So these challenges opens the doors for opportunities for humanity as well. So these are challenges are there, but even though they are opening the doors, it all happened in our quest to reach to the answers to those three basic questions. Futures are very frightening in front of us with three big questions: how we will deal with the complex challenges like global warming, artificial intelligence, weapons of mass destruction, how we will deal with the complexities posed by the negative thoughts using modern science, and how we can survive. So it ends with the third question, and that is where I will go, or where we will go. What will be the future of humanity in universe? And the answer is with the awesome natural machine, the human brain, and its amazing thought process, especially the spiritual thought process. So the collective human thought process continuously working to maintain a balance, and but getting suspicious about the scientific development. So we can say that our thoughts are very powerful. They affect our physical, mental, and social health. It is all because of the different neurotransmitters and biochemicals released in this process. So a positive thought process has a positive effect, and a negative thought process has a negative effect. The positive thoughts are savior of our physical, mental, and social health. So if we look at the WHO definition of health, then health is a complete balance of physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being. We all know it very well, and it is not merely an absence of disease or infirmity. So if we will see it in this diagram, the physical health is something about the physical activity, nutrition, habits and behavior, rest and sleep. Simultaneously, the mental health is how people think, how people feel, and how people behave. Social health is about the meaningful interactions, meaningful relationship, meaningful interactions with our surroundings, with other people, with our family members, with our community members, meaningful interaction with our environment, with the other living animals. So this makes the social health, and spiritual health is something about ability to think positive and ability to control the negative thoughts. So health is in this area where it is the complete, where you can say that it is a complete balance. So health is a complex concept. It involves practically everything we do. It is about our customs, belief systems, politics, environment, biodiversity, education, economy, agriculture, whatever we do that affects our biology and biochemistry, and that affects our health. So this evolutionary journey of species Homo sapiens has made we human beings in such a way. Uh, if we think about two concepts, one concept is concept of well-being. So it is an experience of happiness and prosperity, life satisfaction and sense of meaning and purpose, with ability to manage stresses of life. And we can also say that it is something about the healthy aging, because anybody, even a newborn child, started aging from day one, from just after her birth. We started having the aging process. So the second concept about the happiness. So happiness is many times we think that it is a pleasure, prosperity, aims, goals, success, all of them, some of them, or something else. But most of the time, happiness is something else. We cannot. It is very difficult to define happiness, and that is in itself is a big topic. We cannot. We are not going in that detail over here. But it has got two dimensions. One dimension is the state of mind, and another dimension is life perspective. So both of them, they lead to the hedonism, desires, and objectives, and they are interdependent. But it is always the role of a good state of mind, a good perspective of life, and enjoying all those pleasures, prosperity, aims, goals in our life, and simultaneously, we cannot have the happiness without good health. So we can define spiritual health. Now we are coming to the spiritual health. So it is necessary to define it, and we can say that it is a complete balance of our thought process, which helps in creating and promoting positive thoughts and control and stop negative thoughts, so that they can create a complete positive health in the form of physical, mental, and social well-being. So spiritual health is about the positive thinking. So whether it is the physical health, means it will lead to the good health, good immunity, and good motivation. Mental health, it will lead to the happiness, less mental conflicts, less stress, complete balance. So in social health, it will lead to the tolerance, love, good personality, less social conflicts. So naturally, for positive social health and spiritual health, it is necessary to understand the real meaning of spirituality, which will help in forming tolerant religion, helpful problem-solving science, balancing philosophies, and accommodating cultures. So it is necessary to a world in a world with humanity and human
ये
values.
फोन पे आने
So
को कि
spiritual health and the health of our thoughts can save the species Homo sapiens and the planet Earth from the highly advanced, evolved, and complex negative thoughts of human brain. It is good for our health and well-being as well. So our thoughts make energy. We consumed positive or negative. So how we make the positive energy or negative energy, we can understand it with this example. And suppose we run 100 meters. Situation one, we are doing exercise. I am doing exercise for positive thought, which is a positive. Situation two, I am running 100 meters just to hit someone out of anger, which is a negative thought. So we consume the same amount of energy in terms of calories, but in situation one, it has got all the good effects on my health. It will relieve my stress, regulate my blood pressure, regulate my blood chemistry, for good, and make me happy, and I will feel well-being. So in the situation two, it will lead to all bad effects on my health. So it will make me tense. It will increase my blood pressure, increase my heart rate, and it will put my health in on the negative side. So same amount of calories we consumed in two different situations have two different opposite effects on our health, based on our thought process, our thinking at that time, what exactly we are thinking while we are consuming those calories. So spiritual health is about positive energy by enhancing positive thoughts, correcting negative thoughts, releasing positive hormones and neurotransmitters, improving our physical, mental, and social health. So to create positive spiritual health, it is necessary to understand our religiosity is not our spirituality. First of all, it is very important, because many times our religiosity will get us into the negative thoughts. But our spirituality make the basis of our religiosity. It is required to look for our spirituality in our religiosity. The definition of spirituality is very simple, and that is all the positive thoughts of humanity and human values are. How to enhance our spiritual health? This is the question. So simply by encouraging the thoughts of humanity and human values without complicating much. We are complicating the things very much. So thinking always, enhance our spiritual health and improve our physical, mental, and social health at individual level, community, country, and globally. So, clarity in defining spirituality will decrease the ambiguities in understanding in context of the religions, faith, and belief. Many problems are because of general understanding, where we take our religions as our. If we will be able to see the spiritual component of our belief system and religion, many problems of extremism and extreme thinking can be solved with many social health problems of hatred, violence, and conflicts. Here comes the first question as our savior when we ask, who am I or who we are? So this question has created philosophers, religious thinkers, spiritual thinkers, gurus, masters, and saints, basically all stream of knowledge. So it is all the play of our beautiful thought, though that results our different thought process. They move, motivate, ward, explore, and create ourselves. Who am I or who we are? Uh, is the question which is most human question with a natural answer, and that is I am a human being. So this answer will be right for all members of the species Homo sapiens, but we can also have the different answers of the who am I based on our respective religious faith or religious belief system, but those answers will not be correct for another for the other belief system or for other the followers of other religion. But when we call it that I am a human being and I am the member of the species Homo sapiens, it will be correct across the belief systems and across the world. So humanity and human values evolved as a positive human thought, and they are the basis of all the human activities in science, religions, philosophies, and cultures. So they are the spiritual thoughts and spirituality. It is about the balance in our thinking and thoughts in areas of religion, culture, science, and philosophy. That is creating positive thoughts in all the spheres of our life. So we need to do two things. One, follow human values and all in all walks of life. Keep positive. It will spread positivity. Spiritual health is to identify, maintain, enhance, and propagate the positive thought process in all spheres of life, including science. Will enhance our health, wellness, happiness, personality, and religiosity. So, if we consider the life as the flow of energy and all thought process as the flow of energy, like whether they are the flow of energy. In fact, the cultural, religious, philosophic, scientific thought process, we will see that there are two types, positive and negative. Positive will release the positive hormones, and that will have all the effects. It will enhance our mood, happiness, and well-being, and it will create the positive health. The negative will have all the bad effects. The sad mood, aggressiveness, tiredness, or no well-being will create the negative health. And it is the spiritual thoughts which work on our positive thoughts. They will enhance the positive thoughts, and simultaneously they will stop the negative thoughts and correct the negative thoughts to make them more positive. It is all because of our chemistry. The answer is there in our chemistry. We have these hormones: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphin. Dopamine is the habit former, good or bad both. Oxytocin, also known as the love hormone, is important in social relationship and trust. Serotonin is the leadership hormone and for the pride, loyalty, and status. Endorphins, they are indigenous opioids. They are natural painkillers being created by our body. So we have the stress hormones as well. So adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol, these are the hormones, and they increase our blood pressure, increase heart rate, increase our blood sugar level. And many studies have shown that when we have the control on our thoughts, we have worked under the positive thoughts. When we help others, always it affects on our HPA axis in negative way, means it will subdue the HPA axis, and those stress hormones will go down, and these happiness hormones will come up, and that is the reason that we feel always happy with it. At the last, this is a small video, and it is about the. So this book is available on Amazon and Flipkart and all other channels. If anybody wants, you can go through it. Thank you very much, and sorry for the technical glitch. And it is the part of today's. Nowadays, we are going through all these technical glitches because of pandemic situation. And and okay, so I am going to stop the presenting, and now I think sorry for the initial technical glitch, and the slides were not visible. Thank you very much. Thank you for patiently hearing.
Hello, hello, hello,
Yes, sir.
hello. Thanks, Dr. Bhatta, for your wonderful presentation and reflection on spiritual health. Though it is a very technical paper, you have tried to make clarity of positive thinking in lieu of spiritual health, and you have excellently elaborated the development of human knowledge, which leads to development of thought process in scientific evolution, industrial evolution, and cognitive evolution, which have developed both the positive thinking and negative thinking in Homo sapiens. Sir, throughout your presentation, you have you have reflected upon so many technical issues on our uh, our thought process and how negativity comes everywhere, and we have to overcome all kinds of negativity, and really the spiritual health presented by you has given has developed a positive thinking in us, and which leads to the positive health. And Professor Pramod Kumar Das is with us to give a summary and synopsis of the talk presented by Dr. Bhatta. May I request Dr. Professor Pramod Kumar Das, the convener of philosophy family, to present the summary or the synopsis of the talk presented today. Okay, Professor Das.
Sir, sir.
Pramod Kumar Das.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Would you mind to present now or after the introduction session?
Yes, sir. We shall start interactive session. There are two questions I see in the chat box. So, Srabani Mishra is asking a question whether only positive thinking and social physical well-being are the only way to maintain spiritual health, or there is anything else. She wants to know whether only positive thinking and social physical well-being are the only ways to maintain spiritual health, or there are other anything else.
Okay. So, so as I told in my presentation that spiritual health is based on our definition of spirituality, and being in public health, working in public health for last many years, I have seen that we have created very a lot of complexities and ambiguities in defining spirituality, and people want to realize their spirituality, and to in search of that spirituality we have seen a lot of very negative incidences throughout the past, in past few years, few decades, that people were exploited physically, mentally, and emotionally on the name of the spiritual well-being. Simultaneously, we have seen that there is a large market, the evolving all over the world on the name of the spiritual well-being. So that market has got the certain business interests, and with those business interests, the people, what they are getting on the name of the spiritual products, whether they are really useful for their health. And we have done a study, and we have found it that on the name of the spiritual health are many kind of the rituals, many kinds of the unscientific methods are being given to the people just to follow them. It makes them it makes a big problem for their health. So we have seen it, we have done it. uh, the basic problem, what you want to know is that spiritual health is something related with our thought process, and most of the time it is our thought that defines our health, our physical health, our mental health, and our social health. Suppose I want to give you one answer. Suppose I am sitting one day, one fine morning, and with a very good mood, and all of a sudden I open the newspaper and I read the news that in my in the colony, in my neighboring colony, there was a big kind of social unrest. So immediately my thought will go to the in the negative direction. So I will start thinking about my family. I may have some kind of anger generated in myself. So immediately within seconds, with those kind of thoughts, I will go into the negative side of the health. My mental I will all those stress hormones I enumerated in my presentation, those stress hormones, noradrenaline, epinephrine, they will start gushing in my system, because I am in a fear mode now. So either I will have to fight with it, or I will have to flight from that situation. So immediately that thought, that negative thought, brings me into the negative health. So most of the time it is our thoughts which makes our health positive or negative. So that's why my aim is, this is the reason that I am trying to give importance to, and even WHO is giving the importance to the spiritual health and spirituality. Now why we are going in the jargon of very complexities of the definition of the spirituality, ambiguities in spirituality. This spirituality is this, spirituality is that. Why we are not saying that spirituality is nothing else but only all the positive thoughts, you can call them as spirituality. All the positive thoughts, those are conducive for the humanity and human values, and conducive for life in general. So suppose I am helping someone, I am helping somebody, it immediately goes into my system, and the positive hormones, the happiness hormones, the dopamine, oxytocin, that will get released in my body, and I will feel well-being. Even helping some person, just crossing the road, can change my health perspective. It make me happy when I will hold the hand of an old man and help him just to in crossing the road. So definitely it will help, it will make me happy. Okay, so this is that is my point, that it most of the time what we try to understand about our health, it is our thoughts which make us healthy or unhealthy, because it is very less that we are getting the disease and we are having fever, we are having some kind of operation, surgery, etc. Even those conditions, if we are thinking positive, my positive thinking will heal me faster. So this evolution has made our body, the human body, in such a way that all the positive thoughts are very good healers. And innumerable studies has been done that in post-operative phase, I am a surgeon, and I have seen it, that if the people are having the positive thinking in post-operative phase, they require less painkillers, less medication, and they heal faster. So there are many studies regarding it. So that is why. So this is the we need to think on it, and for a good spiritual health in public perspective, it is necessary to free the spirituality, the definition of the spirituality, of that jargon that only guru will know about the spirituality, and only guru or something else, something very learned people can tell you that what is spirituality, he can make you spiritually awakening. So this kind of the jargon is creating a mess in society nowadays, and we have seen it in last few decades. This is my submission. I think is it sufficient.
Thank you, sir.
Any other answer, any other question, please?
Yes, sir. There is another question asked by Ratnakar Gajendra, sir. He says that science is based on truth. Religion is based on certain beliefs and spirituality. So, what is the role of a philosophy in religion and science? Okay, sir.
Okay, yeah. I would like to say it in this way because if you scientifically look at the evolution of the human thought process, it evolved in very systematic manner. So initially, when we were having those three questions in front of us as human being, that where from I came, means the all the original stories. So at that time, the best knowledge available was the religious knowledge. So that religious knowledge was that whatever something has been done, that is being done by the by the God. So if I am not knowing that why this I am having this fever, I will go to a, certain tree or certain somewhere else, and I will do certain kind of ritual. And many times it happens that those thinking, those thoughts have good effect on my on my health, and that fever may get subside. Many times it happened in past. So at that time, that was the but with the evolution of the human thought process, this we developed our scientific thought process as well. So this scientific thought process is something where it is not necessary to be a scientist or to be a scientific science student to have a scientific thought process. Generally we all are having the religious thought process, cultural thought process, scientific thought process, and philosophic thought process running in our brain simultaneously. So this scientific thought process is that process in which we started questioning something. So if somebody asks me just to do a ritual, a question will come in my mind why I should do it. Once when I asked it that why I should do it, naturally that is my scientific thought process started working. So I can the answer can be based on my knowledge, that the answer can be based on my cultural knowledge, my educational knowledge, so that may be there. So basically the philosophy works in all these types of thought process, and the philosophic thoughts, they are there in the scientific thoughts as well as they are there in the religious and cultural and social thoughts. So they have got a certain philosophical angle. Even the science, when you talk about the quantum theory, or when we talk about the big bang, so it leads to a philosophic thinking in ourselves, because there are a lot of questions those arises in my mind, that may not have answers according to my knowledge. So if I am not having those answers, I will rely on my philosophy. So that is the reason that the philosophers generally say that philosophy belongs to a person, and generally my philosophy may be different from some other body other member of my family's philosophy. So this kind of thing is, and I will not go in because a lot of philosophy teachers and philosophers are sitting over here, so I will not go in that area, because that is not my area of work. I am working on the public health, and whatever I talked today, that was from public health point of view, and from the scientific part, because we need to think scientifically if we really want to uh, take the better results of spirituality in our for our the from the angle of our health.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Das, I have a question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, we must thank Dr. Bhatt for giving us such a thought-provoking lecture, and we are rather collectively thankful to you, sir. So
Thank you,
I
sir.
have I have one clarification and one question. Now, in the course of your lecture, you have said that the thought process starts with negativity and then enters into the domain of positivity. So, if this entering into the domain of positivity, it is out of individual enterprise, or it is the result of our collective thought process. This is one thing I want to know. And the other one is that normally the holistic health is also being discussed. So is there any difference between spiritual health and holistic health? Thank you.
So, thank you, sir. Your question are very important, and I think very important, interesting as well. I would like to tell one thing, that the negative thought process are very important for any species to survive in this world. Any species. So our negative thoughts, they are the imprints of the animal thought process, the various kind of the animal thought process, like sex, hunger. These are the basic thought process, and security. These our negative, these create the thought process for the survival. So again, survival for the homo sapiens is also important. For human beings, survival is again important. So in that way, if you see that the biological importance of the positive thought process, the negative thought process is much more bigger than the positive thought process. We human beings evolved into the those positive thoughts. So, like, I want to give you one answer, that is the religious thought process. So, animals, they have a thought to make the herds. Why they make herds? They make the herds just to for their purpose of food, for the purpose of their sex, and for the purpose of the propagation of their species, and for the purpose of security. uh, in the similar way, if we look at these religious thought process, in fact they are the evolved form of that thought process. We make a group of a people where we believe in something, some supernatural power, and that supernatural power will make us collect. So anybody who will come from somebody somewhere else, and if he want to join that group, he will have to surrender, or he will have to look at that supernatural power, to as a protectee, or as a doer of everything, or say something. So for the protection we made that. So in that way, that is the problem here, is that we think that we generally have this idea, and now it has been evolved, and now there are a lot of work is being done, and generally the spirituality or the spiritual thought process has been remained for centuries in the domain of the religiosity or religious thought process. So it makes that evolved thought a little bit complex, and that complexity was required in the domain of the religiosity, because they need to impose that power, that supernatural power, to make a group strong. It is necessary to make that group strong. So these negative thought process, those evolve into the positive thought process of the humanity and human values. So if you will look at the thought process of the humanity and human values, those will be always positive, and those will be conducive for the human life. And if that is conducive for the human life, naturally it will be good for our health. It is simple. The second thing, you were asking about the holistic health. So now holistic health is naturally where we consider the whole human body as one organ. We are not seeing as eyes different, and brain different, and our thinking or our thought process different. So when we started thinking, so this holistic health is in itself is a thought, a positive thought, where we think that not only my health, but health of my environment, health of my family, health of my friends, health of my animals with whom I am roaming here and there, and who are there in my close vicinity, is important for my health. And we have seen it in context of corona epidemic, that how we are dependent on the animals, as from the point of the health view, that how dependent we are animals and animals health. So now a new concept is being talked about all over the world, and that is the one health concept. One health concept is about the thinking about the whole environment, the biodiversity, the animal health, the plant health. So because if the plants are not good in health, again it will affect my health. If animals are not good in health, it will affect my health. So it is a concept, and they are evolving, they are developing. And you are right that the holistic health is also a concept, a thought process, a thinking that how we should deal with our health.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. There is another question. What is ecosystem in our thought?
Yeah. Yeah, this is again a very interesting ecosystem. Our generally we have four kinds of thoughts. So it creates an ecosystem in our brain, in our thinking. So those thought process are religious and cultural thought process. Number two is the scientific thought process, philosophic thought process, and spiritual thought process. So these all thought process make a kind of ecosystem because these thoughts and all these process, they are interdependent and intertwined with each other. So they affect each other. So one if under my religious thought process, I am thinking something about my day to day work, the another thought will come in, and that is the scientific thought process, and that will affect it, and it will either subdue it or it can enhance it. So it depends on the circumstances. So there is a kind of ecosystem of our thought process, and that ecosystem is created by the different kind of the thoughts, because our brain is generating thoughts 24 into 7. We are keep on generating, our brain is keep on generating thoughts because of these thought process. There is a lot of chemistry is going on in our brain. So that creation of that's why I call them as an ecosystem. So in that ecosystem, certain thought process have got the prominence. So a person who was living in before 1500, say before the scientific revolution, at that time the prominence was of the religious thought process. So whatever he was thinking, he was trying to, even if he was but the person was thinking about some scientific under his scientific thought process, but the prominence was of the religious thought process. Here now, in the 21st century, the prominence of the scientific thought process is there, but this scientific thought process and other thought process also have got the negative angle, and those negative angle are in the form of weapons of the mass destruction, artificial intelligence being used by the some terrorist group or something, someone who is or the biotechnology, the the gene mapping and genetic engineering. So that these technologies, these are the marvels of the human intelligence and human quest. But these marvels can have the potential to be used under negative thoughts of humanity and the human brain. So it is against the thought of humanity and human values. And if it is going against the human thoughts of the humanity and human values, these our evolution has made our biochemistry in such a way that it will immediately affect our biochemistry through negative things, and it will create some kind of fear in our mind, and that fear will lead to the surge of the stress hormones in our body, and that will increase our blood pressure, that make me stressed, that will make me anxious, anxiety, sleep disorder. So all this will happen. So this to make them in a positive direction, this concept of the spirituality and spiritual thought process is evolving, it is still developing. So it has developed, and it is now, it has been there is a lot of academic work is being done where the people are saying that religiosity is different and spirituality is different. And the people are saying that spiritual but not religious. They said that I am spiritual but not religious, means they are working on those positive thoughts of humanity and human values, where they consider that everybody is the member of the species Homo sapiens, and we all are human beings. We cannot divide them according to our so in that way, if you will see, I have shown it that in slide, that science deals with everybody equally. So paracetamol will decrease my fever, and the fever of anybody else in some other part of the country or some other part of the world, as well as a person who is believing in some other god or some believing some other belief system. So it will work with everybody similarly. Similarly, a killer weapon will kill irrespective of any caste, creed, religion, etc. So this is the reason that's why I am telling you that there is that is the ecosystem of our human thought process, and that ecosystem works at individual level as well as collective level. So it works at the individual level as an individual thought process and individual ecosystem of thought process, and at a collective level as a collective ecosystem of thought process.
Thank you, sir. Other two questions asked by Professor Ratnakar Gajendra and Dr. Kailash Chandra Mahana, but I think that these two questions are already answered by this responsive, sir.
Thank
So
you, sir.
it is already answered. Okay. So in
Yes,
summary,
sir.
in hello,
Yes, sir.
in summary, I shall speak only 3 to 4 sentences. What is science? I think science is misunderstood today. Science means the systematic study of any discipline. That systematic study is not only the systematic study of a physical aspect of a human being, because human existence is trifarious. Human existence is trifarious means man has a body, mind, and spirit. Man has a physical existence, psychological existence, and a spiritual existence. And science studies all. We misunderstand that science is only confined to laboratory. Science is only confined to experimentation. Science is only confined to the study of truth and falsity. It is a misconception, because science ultimately declares that everything is relative. Everything is subject to further verification. So, therefore, now the domain of science has been expanded. Now we are talking of spiritual science. Now we are talking of psychological science or science of a human mind. So the domain of science has been expanded, because in the evolutionary process, as man is evolving, human mind is evolving. So man now has come to understand that the science as it was misunderstood earlier, now that is not the science. Science studies all these three aspects. Therefore, we are talking about Adhatma Vijnana. Adhatma Vijnana means the science of spirituality. So that is also science. Science, because science means the systematic knowledge. So because in the modern age also, man has become more conscious of the limitation of science. So that is the real science which understands the limit of science, because the cosmos, the cosmos is infinite and man is finite. Human knowledge is finite. Science is finite in that sense. So science is just an attempt. It is not the conclusion. Science is an attempt to understand the reality. But in the process, it should be holistic, because if we focus on one aspect of human existence and we ignore all other aspects, for example, we think that who am I? No, I am my body. So my cells, my brain, my heart, my lungs. That is not what am I. I am also my mind. I have my thoughts. I have my thought process. I have both positive thinking and negative thinking. And also, I have a consciousness force which understands the limits of my body and mind. That my body is changing, my mind is changing. As we say that cells of our body are changing, and in every year we are different persons, and every moment we have different minds, we have different thoughts. Who understands this? Because there is a principle of consciousness which witnesses certain changes. So this is also now understood by science. So I think that science, the domain of science, the contribution of science is misunderstood. Now people have come to understand that what science is.
This is the reason that when I started this presentation, I put certain scientific facts, and those scientific facts was according to you, sir, as well. So what you were talking, those scientific facts I put because only just to remind that how the science works. That just like
Yes,
science
sir.
says,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
just
Now,
like science says that the atom is 99.999% empty.
yes, sir.
So the next answer will, the next question will be, so if the atom is 99.99% empty, so the my body is also the 99.999% empty. So what I am seeing, what is that exactly which is in front of me, or what I am calling as itself as my body? So I started with this. This was the reason that I started with
Yes,
it.
sir.
Carry
Yes,
on.
sir. Science has gone beyond science. That is the point. Generally, what we understand by science, that is not the science rather that we understand today. Therefore, now we call Adhatma science, Adhatma Vijnana. That is spiritual science. The topic spiritual health is about spiritual science. We cannot ignore science because science means systematic study of any discipline. So we have three disciplines. Our body is a discipline, our mind is a discipline, and we have a consciousness force. That is also a discipline. So science, the approach of science will become holistic when science will focus on these three aspects of human existence. And I think this is what you mean to say. And spiritual health is that. Spiritual health means that that human brain, human mind should not be engaged only in the inquiry about truth and falsity. It should be engaged with human values, the kindness, forgiveness, tolerance, love, compassion. All these values should be cultured, and that makes us healthy. That is spiritual health, and that is possible by spiritual science. That is not possible by laboratory tests, because laboratory test is one aspect of human existence. That is true. We don't ignore that. If I am suffering from any disease, I shall go to hospital. That is the physical science. But if I am mad, if I have any psychological disorder, that treatment is something different. If I am under stress, if I have gone on to depression, that treatment is something different. Similarly, what is my philosophy of life? What is my philosophy of the world? That treatment is also something different. That is called Adhatma Vijnana. Therefore, all these three things are nothing but science. That I understood from your entire talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, now, sir, now I request Dr. Kailash Chandra Mahana sir to propose a vote of thanks.
Okay. Uh, Thanks so much, Dr. Bhatto and Professor Pramod Kumar Das. Really, I deem it a pride privilege to propose a vote of thanks to Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, the eminent surgeon and eminent orator of our country. We offer our hearty gratitude to Dr. Bhatt for sharing his wisdom on spiritual health and positive thinking with us. The post pandemic situation has really provided a platform for the members of philosophy family to be connected with a great orator and public health consultant like Dr. Bhatt. Really, I also like to offer my gratitude to Dr. Indu Khonduri ma'am. Dr. Indu Khonduri ma'am has brought the connectivity of Dr. Bhatt with us. Gratitude to Dr. Bhatt and Dr. Khonduri ma'am for providing us such a great opportunity in philosophy family. We all have derived personal benefits. The way Dr. Bhatt presented the synthesis of the scientific concepts with human values to develop and evolve positive thinking for a greater cause of health, universe, peace, and happiness. Sir, today our Arvini Pramod Kumar Das has delivered an excellent concluding remark on the talk of Dr. Bhatt. He reflected on the aim of scientific study as a comprehensive and systematic study on the all aspects of knowledge, including spirituality. He has reflected how science has gone beyond science, Adhatma Vijnana. I thank Professor Ranjit Ghosh, Dr. Ratnakar Gajendra, and some other participants who have made interaction with Dr. Bhatt, and they have gained a benefit out of his talk. I once again offer my hearty gratitude to all the viewers of the philosophy family across the country for making this evening webinar very meaningful. Thank you, Dr. Bhatt. Thank you, Professor Pramod Kumar Das, and thanks everybody to be connected
Thank
with
you.
you.
Thank you
Really,
all the members of the philosophy family. Thank you very much.
okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Pranam, sir. Over to Pramod Kumar Das.
Now the meeting is closed, and we are all grateful to Dr. Bhatt. We are all grateful to Dr. Bhatt. Entire philosophy family is grateful.
Everybody, thank you. Namaskar.
Sir, we shall invite you again and again with beautiful topics.
Sure. It will be my pleasure. It will be my pleasure
Yes,
to be
sir.
among.
We really enjoyed your talk. We really enjoyed.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Now the meeting is over.